Hey, what's up everyone? I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. As always, today we have more stimulus content to cover, so let's just jump right into it. So essentially what the politicians want to do now is they want to go ahead and combine the government funding bill with the stimulus package. This is the omnibus government funding bill. They want to combine that with the stimulus package. So ultimately what we want to do is we want to get the omnibus package done in order to get the stimulus package to go through by this end of this year, and then go ahead and ride on the omnibus package to fund the government. Combining the two bills will actually increase the odds of the stimulus package actually being passed by the end of this year. We must get the omnibus package done in order for the stimulus package just to kind of be thrown on top and just ride that law. The current expectation is that the stimulus package is just going to ride on top of, they're just going to piggyback ride off the omnibus package, and that's how it's going to be passed. But if there's no omnibus package passed, or it's not, finalized by the end of this year, there's very, very slim chance that the stimulus package will also be passed by the end of the year. Both senators, Mark Warner and Susan Collins, said this. They said, "We fully acknowledge that parts of this agreement, as well as the items not included, will be difficult pills for some of the senators in both parties to swallow." Okay, but then they go on to say, but the cost of the inaction is higher if millions of American families are forced into the holiday season wondering whether they will be able to put food on the table or keep a roof over their heads. So that's what both of the senators were saying. A lot of the senators now are realizing the importance of passing the stimulus package before the end of this day. And keep in mind, that is 9 more business days that the Congress will have in order to pass the stimulus package. However, some senators are a lot more skeptical in terms of passing the stimulus package by the end of this year. For example, congressional leaders actually met just yesterday. Nancy Pelosi, Schumer, McConnell, McCarthy, they all came together and they met, in the morning, and they went ahead and, they were supposed to discuss about stimulus negotiations, COVID relief, and the omnibus package. At the end of the day, what did they really just talk about? They only talked about the inauguration. So they didn't look at the stimulus negotiation. They didn't even talk about the stimulus checks or stimulus package. They didn't go into COVID relief at all. They didn't talk about the omnibus package. All that really went on was just to talk about the inauguration that would occur, but nothing else. Additionally, Senator Chris Coons says that he sees a very, very slim chance that the Senate will leave with an agreement about the stimulus by the end of this year. The reaction to the bipartisan bill was really different from senator to senator. For example, Bernie Sanders is really mad, and he said there was no mention at all of the stimulus check in the bipartisan bill. He thinks that is completely morally wrong, especially for the people who are middle class and, working class citizens. He believes that it is necessary in order for them to have a stimulus bill, especially during this period. He vowed that he would reject any bill that did not include stimulus checks, and he said that he would be working in order to get other people onto his backs and try to get them to also pass the current stimulus bill. Republican Senator Josh Hawley was also very, very concerned and perplexed when he saw there was no second stimulus check in the bipartisan bill. He was like, everyone supported this back in March. It was very useful, very helpful, and was one of the most popular things being passed at the time. So he's like, why isn't this happening again then? A lot of senators are also remaining very, very optimistic about the entire situation. Senator Josh Hawley, for instance, he spoke with Donald Trump actually just about the stimulus checks and how they would help America and the people and how it would ultimately end up boosting the economy. The biggest news is that Josh Hawley he was not happy at all about the stimulus checks and how things were progressing. So he actually had a man-to-man, face-to-face conversation with President Donald Trump. And he told them why Donald Trump should make sure to reject or veto the stimulus bill because the actual stimulus checks were not included in them. So it was really nice to see this actual real conversation that existed instead of something just over the media kind of going back and forth that's not very effective. When Senator Hawley was kind of asked in terms of what he thought about this entire thing, he said it was very vital that there has to be some form of relief that includes direct stimulus payments. Otherwise, he wouldn't vote for it. And, he urged President Donald Trump to veto any bill that did not have any direct payments to the citizens. He really pleaded with the president is what really stood out, and threatened to use his vote in order to reject the bill if it failed to have that direct stimulus check to the people. So he's really, really looking out for having that extra stimulus check or the second round of stimulus checks from the senator side of things. Senator Hawley believed that he did a pretty good job because even Trump was like, oh yeah, why is that such a small deal? Why is there no stimulus check yet? He was really unaware of all the proposals. So Senator Hawley let him know of what's actually going on and what's actually being proposed at the time, and he felt like he did a very, very good job convincing Donald Trump in order to veto or reject any bills that came his way that did not have that direct stimulus or that direct stimulus check. Haley stated that Trump understands that the Americans are hurting really badly right now and relief is necessary, and that's why they're really trying to make quick actions in the Congress and trying to provide aid to millions of people. Senator John Thune received a lot of criticism as he said that in order for the stimulus checks to be passed, what would need to be done is that the money from the state and local governments had to be reduced and they would have to be converted into the stimulus checks. A lot of the Democrats obviously pushed back and they criticized him a lot just because the Democrats obviously wanted a lot of local and state funding for the governments. And the Republicans, they wanted more liability protection. But Thune still insisted that they would pick up a lot of support for the bill and actually get the bill passed if they were to go ahead and substitute the state and the local government funding with the actual stimulus checks. He does bring up a good point in that they have brought in more tax revenue since they did last year during the fall time, and they don't want to just continue to throw hundreds of billions of dollars at the state and local governments, and they think it's a lot more effective as long as they give it to the individual person and have direct stimulus checks. Ultimately in Congress right now, there's a lot of both sides. One side is like, there's a lot of optimism that exists. The other side is like the bill will not be passed. At the end of the day, as long as we can put together the omnibus package and get something ready and kind of finalized there, that is going to be a good sign, but there are a lot of other factors that we will be talking about. But if we can do that and throw the stimulus package on top of there, I think that in that case it will be passed. But if that's not the case, most likely the stimulus package will not be passed by the end of the year. There are perspectives for both sides. There's a lot going on in Congress. Like I said, 9 more business days and we'll kind of see how everything plays out. But really now the clock is ticking before the end of this year. Hopefully you guys all learned something new and enjoyed the video. If you did, please do drop a like. It helps me out tremendously. Consider subscribing to the channel to see more content like this. Turn on those post notifications so that way you guys are aware of when I do post my next video, and comment down below. Till next time, have a good one. Peace.